Are there any questions?
Hi, Stuart. Such an
Yes.
incredible meditation. I wanted to ask you about the human experience, the human condition, and what we're here for ultimately.
For ultimately what? Fixing it?
I don't think there's any fixing it, but as humans and everything that we're capable of, and all of our complexities, how do we simplify?
Look, the answer to this is probably something you don't even want to hear. I wouldn't worry about the human condition. I wouldn't worry about simplifying life. I wouldn't worry about figuring out the complexities of this strange world we live in. I would completely get yourself involved in the development of a strong chakra system that can enable you to live at peace and live in harmony with all of the manifestations of God. Because that really is the key. I mean, I've said it 100 million times, When you have 8 billion people living in this world, they all see a unique reality based upon what their own condition is inside. And how do you fix that? It means that each and every human being has to sit down and fix themselves, has to make that kind of effort. And to find people that are willing to do that, my God, it would be easier to find, the Holy Grail. It would be easier to find, a 200 carat clear diamond than to find enough people that are willing to sit down, take full responsibility for the world, and fix it by fixing themselves. Going inside, developing a system that's strong enough to keep the heart open, mind quiet, to receive wisdom and knowledge from a higher source of energy, to truly allow that energy to flow through them and, give it to the world. The world around them will change. But, look, we're talking about 8 million people, 8 billion people having to do that. So there's reincarnation. Time goes on infinitely. And as long as people don't fix their internal well being and arrive at a state of inner peace inside themselves, time will continue to unroll itself. When people, all the souls in the universe do that, time will stop. The soul will finally attain what it's supposed to attain on earth. So it's not a matter of the human condition. I don't think the human condition is going to change for a very, very long time. And I'm not being cynical and I'm not being sarcastic and I'm not being upset. I'm just saying these are the realities. Now, how do I deal with this kind of reality? Stuart, I say, you have to live. I say this, though, you have to live in the midst of all this stuff. Well, build a system that can live in harmony with all of these things and not have some thing in your brain about going out there and fixing what can't be fixed. What can be fixed is ourselves. And if we do that, that is really a major step towards fixing the world. If each human being would do that, it would be a major step to fixing the world. And I used to take the objective insanity of life very seriously when I was very angry and marching and protesting. And I remember Vietnam and, segregation and all this stuff that was going on back in the 60s. And then one day I said, stop. It was after I met Rudy. And I began to learn how to fix me. not in an unselfish, egotistical way, but in a way with humility, with love, with gratitude that there is an opportunity to overcome, the anxiety that was in myself and learn how to live here and be at peace with myself and peace with the world. And then, look, there's, I don't know how many, 20 some odd people sitting here. Hopefully they want to learn something similar, because that's basically what I teach. I have evolved into a situation where I am completely a servant of God, trying to teach people to fix each other one human being at a time. Now, this is a very hard job, because most people, when they learn that they have to make the effort to fix themselves, if the world is going to be fixed, they run like jackrabbits. They don't want to hear it. It's too much of an effort. They want, to take some pill and it's all going to be okay. And of course, it's ludicrous, It's only okay if we're okay. And if we're strong enough to be able to live here with our hearts open with love, not to be intimidated by the madness that goes on in the world, and to say, okay, it's just a manifestation of God's energy. What can I learn from all of this stuff so I can continue to grow inside myself?
Thank you so much, dear Stuart.
You're welcome. And, this takes time. It takes training. It takes commitment. I spoke about it last night. I don't want to go through it again, what all of this takes. And it's an amazing commitment. And again, I will repeat that it's not this or that, or that, or that. It's this and that, and that, and that. And it becomes this and that as we get stronger inside ourselves and we can take on more and more responsibility. It's not our position in life. It's arriving at an understanding that less is more. The less of us involved, the more of God is going to be involved. Spirit can flow through us that we can channel into the world. Problem with people, it's not less is more. It's more is more. How much can I consume? How much can I eat up? How much of the world can I digest before I drop dead? Scary, but that's the mentality of the world we live in, where it should be exactly the opposite. How much can I surrender? How much of the ego can I let go of? How much of my self-importance? How much can I open and truly become a vehicle, not for my ego and my mind and my opinions, but for the Spirit of God to come through us and nurture people that are in our lives. So the less of us, the more there is of higher energy flowing through us, not self-importance. Look, I've made a lot of teachers in my life, and one of the shocking things I discovered in making teachers is how it almost instantly evolves into their self-importance. This is true. And not truly using it as a step in a ladder that become one with higher energy. And it's like Rudy told me, the first class I taught, he said, first, next year at Big Indian, first I'll teach, then you'll teach, and then we'll show cartoons. This was an amazing, piece of wisdom that he gave me. Don't take yourself too seriously, Stuart. And he always told me, he said, the minute you think you're doing it, it'll come to an end. The minute you think you're doing it. And it's all based upon how deeply one can surrender to God and higher energy in the universe. It has nothing to do with self-importance. It has only to do with less is more. Now, I didn't say I learned this overnight, but it took time to learn this very important element in what it means to have a spiritual life. Does anyone else have a question? Oh, asked questions yesterday and today. Wow. Good question. I just have an announcement to make. Okay, I announced it last night. I'll announce it again. This weekend, I'm having a retreat here in my apartment. There's a number of people coming from all over the states. And I've decided that there'll be no class next Sunday because we'll be in the midst of a retreat. And Monday and Tuesday, I will have class. And then Wednesday and Thursday and the following Sunday, I'm just going to take a little bit of time off. This has been, I think, one of the most intense periods I've ever lived in my life. The growth has been phenomenal. And I'm so grateful for what's taken place in my life over the last year, 2 years. And I need to absorb it. I need to take some time and just quiet and absorb the incredible growth that's taken place so that when I restart this thing, saying not next Monday, but the following Monday, it comes back on an even higher level, on a much higher level. So there won't be class next Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Stuart's on vacation. Taking a vacation. But I'm announcing it to everybody so I don't get 100 emails. Is there class today? Is there class? Did you forget me? Did you take me off the list? Does anyone else? Oh, also, I'd like to say it looks pretty certain that this retreat in France is going to take place. I mean, every time we talk with Emma, and she said, they're really working to make this thing happen. And so I think that's going to be a wonderful thing. If I know it's a big distance to travel to go to France, but it'll be this summer from August 22nd to the 29th. I'm sorry, from July 22nd to the 29th. And it's going to be in this really spectacular place, the Chateau. And then there's June, the people are already signing up. And my birthday retreat, people are already signing up. So this is going to be a really intense summer. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. Bob Sink.
Yes, Bob. Please, everyone, try not to move, okay? Go ahead, Bob.
Stuart, how can I be nurturing with friends and family and strangers with a sense of detachment?
How can you do what with them? Deal with them or live with them? Or
how can I be nurturing with friends and family with a sense of detachment?
Well, the best way, Bob, is this and that and that and that. I mean, you have to build a system inside yourself that can do that. That really is what the meditation is about, building that kind of system that you can take care of all your responsibilities without substituting one for the other. You have the bigness inside to do that. So there's no way that you can, read about this in a book and then apply the theorem to take. The theorem is very simple. Develop a chakra system that's strong enough to do what you said. That you have that bigness of heart, that bigness of mind, that bigness of energy, Shakti inside, to love and have a spiritual life and do everything, do your work, do all of it. And it's what Rudy taught, this and that and that and that. And it's not either or. It's easy to reject. It's very hard to get big enough to embrace life. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. It's just the work, Bob. I hate to make it harder. That's the work. That's the meditation process. Getting bigger enough in yourself to be able to bear all the responsibility with love, openness. And if you get annoyed at somebody, ask yourself, what have they brought out of me that I'm annoyed at? Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be a class on Wednesday. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you for being in my life and being here and making me live a this and that and that and that life. Much better way for me to live than this or that, having to choose between this and that. What a bore. Right. God bless you all. I'm hoping to see everybody on Wednesday.
Thank you, dear Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good
Night,
night.
Stuart.
God bless you.